to the real word. We kind of had to start over this episode only because the connection was weak. We thank everybody for joining us. This is our 6th episode. We thank everyone that's been supporting us, that's been there with us since the very beginning, that's still out there today. I'm here with my brother, Sanders Cameau.
And we have a special guest.
Mike Isnady.
Yes.
What up?
What's up? I want to let you guys know that we want anybody to come join the show and talk about real situations, real issues, and we talk about also making a difference in our community and showing that that the Christian experience is more than just us going to church. It's really building our own and helping our own and everything like that. I want to just talk about a couple of things that I see on your Instagram, and I wanted to ask you what motivates you to post certain things, and what do you feel the state of us as a people and where we need to be and stuff like that. I just thought about that. I hope I put you on blast.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was always pro-black. It's just that I was kind of humble about it.
Okay.
But then I was always against police brutality growing up.
Okay.
And I don't know, as I got older, I became wiser, and I was like looking to the stories. Some of the stories you hear in the news is not true.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of cover up.
Mm-hmm.
So I took initiative to do my own research. Go online, type in stuff, and
wow,
a lot of titles will pop up, and I'll read, and then I'll try to match up stories from what I'm hearing. I'm like, nah, this is BS, man.
That's true.
So a lot of stuff you hear in the news is not really true.
No, it's not true.
Nah. Because you gotta know that the news is privately owned. Like even the story that you posted about the black millionaire on Wall Street. When I read his story online, it connected me to the draft riots that happened in New York. And from the draft riots, I also read about the New York Times owner. And when they came to burn down the New York Times, they couldn't burn down the New York Times because they had a Gatling gun. And remember, it was a private entity, but they had the big guns. And I was like, so since back then, they knew the importance of media, where to the point where they was willing to invest in a Gatling gun to defend it. And you see even today how they use media to manipulate certain agendas. Like one of the things they said is like now they're pushing the gay agenda, and they put the gay agenda before the civil rights agenda. Like,
but it's not civil rights.
Yeah. Basically, it's like they said after the death of Martin Luther King, they pushed civil rights out of the way and they brought gay agenda, and they try to make gay agenda almost as important as black rights. And I guess that's what they push it now. Even today, I went to Chase to deposit money, and on the ATM it says, "This is Pride Month. We support you, and we support our friends and family." On the ATM, I'm like,
every June,
they pushing that agenda hard.
But I want to let you know that in this book that details talking about the Illuminati, it basically said that before they have like religious persecution, the gay thing is going to be the first thing. Then from the gay thing, like promoting it, for children to accept it and everything like that, then they're going to basically force upon us, one world religion and stuff like that.
Yeah, media controls the masses, man.
Yeah. And
I've just read somewhere, I don't know if you guys know Dr. Umar Johnson.
Yeah.
He spoke to us.
Yeah, he spoke about
the Prince of Pan-Africanism.
The fact that you brought up Martin Luther King, he stated that after Martin Luther King got shot, he didn't die instantly. So the people that was around him, they were part of the setup.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna do my own research and find out.
No, I heard that too.
They said that they suffocated him in the ambulance until he died.
God!
Because he survived the shot. They suffocated him.
Game said the same thing. Game was like the rapper. The Game. He said, ask yourself why Jesse Jackson did not catch Martin Luther King's body before it dropped. Because remember, Jesse Jackson had to watch Martin Luther King die because he was next in line.
Yo, we want to give shout out to Moise Lafontaine. Shout out to you, my man. We're looking forward to seeing you. Come through the show, baby. Any questions you want to ask us? Where you live now?
He left us. I don't want to put you on blast, Moise.
It's because he got married, right?
I don't know if that's the reason why, but I know he did get married.
He get married.
He live in Texas now.
Oh, that's what's up. Congratulations, baby. They got some beautiful sisters out there, baby. I'm single. I'm the only single one for now. Brother looking for a wife. You feel me? That's what it's about. Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
man.
I heard also too, to add on what you're saying, you too, I heard at Malcolm X that the real shooters wasn't the Nation of Islam. It was really up top.
No, it was plans. Like, they call it Agent X, or the spook that sat next to the door.
Oh.
Ironically, that's me at my job.
Wow.
but basically, like, in every black organization that is started, the FBI sends like their own agent in to like infiltrate them and to bring down the whole movement.
Wow.
The same thing happened with Bloods and Crips. Crips stood for Community Restoration and Progress. That's what it started, because they were trying to protect the community and fix it up. Yeah. That's where neighborhood Crips come from, because they help the neighborhood. Like, even now, Nipsey has the marathon movement and a charity where like he employs felons that came from jail because he neighborhood Crip. But that's when all the violence started. The violence started when one day there's I think it was a Crip who shot a Blood, or Blood that shot the Crip.
Wow.
I forgot which one. Game talks about it on his album, the Red album, but he talks about it. You guys.
My man said, "Good look at how the government plays into the church." Definitely, especially with this, with funding the church. Yeah, there's definitely an agenda behind that in regards to giving them hush money for them to talk about certain issues.
This is what it is. It just came to me. It's called the FBI, the Faith-Based Initiative. They said during the presidency of George Bush, the faith-based initiative was put into place, which allows the government to fund churches.
Yes.
And basically, they said every president always had a pastor behind them. You remember when Barack Obama was running for president, he had that like radical pastor behind him.
Yeah, Rick Warren.
Yeah, and then he just pushed him to the side. And then, like they said, George Bush had Bishop T.D. Jakes. Basically, after Katrina, Bishop T.D. Jakes went with him to Katrina and prayed. And so did Obama. He had Bishop T.D. Jakes too. And it's like, they said the black churches alone, every week they collect $40 million. And it was like, what are they doing with this money? Like, what are they doing with this money? $40 million every week. Sundays and Saturdays, $40 million.
Not having second guessing all the time now, because I don't know.
Yeah, she said no coincidences. Churches don't get involved in black movements. Exactly, because the faith-based initiative, FBI, like they infiltrated the church.
Yeah,
they paid the church leaders to shut up, basically. Because remember, every church is a non-profit, but they get their non-profit certificate from the government. So they gotta sign a contract, because you don't get nothing from the government without signing a contract. So once you go to the government and you say I'm a non-for-profit, they register you under an IED number, right? It's an IED number, your ID number, and you sign the contract. Based on this, you don't have to pay me tax, but you gotta follow this, and you get grants. Like every non-for-profit, they get government grants.
That's true.
As long as they spend the whole entire money by the end of the year and they show no profit, that's basically what a non-for-profit is. So it's no coincidence. That's why I call it the faith-based initiative, FBI. They even infiltrated the church.
It's sad that SDA has to be part of it too.
Yeah, that's part of it. They supported Trump.
Because look at it, we have a conference, and the conference have their people that's elected and everything else. It's a form of government. Even in your local church, right? They always say that the committee is corrupt, because then they say, because in order for you to be a member of committee, you gotta be nominated. In order for you to be nominated, you have to have people to vote you in. In order for you to have people to vote you in, they gotta like you based on what you do or what you give them.
Oh snap! Going in, keep going.
Yeah,
it's all politics.
So like I heard a story of a guy, like he basically bought church support, and like if you needed something, like if you needed your rent paid, he got you. If you needed a new car, he got you. If you needed like help with a bill, he got you. If you needed the church to pay your bills for a certain amount of time, he got you. Just vote him elder and treasurer.
Ill intent.
I don't know.
Ill intent. That's crazy. My man said all the top leaders in government are Jesuits, and they've been coming and they've been running the Seventh Adventist Church conferences in the mid-1900s. I agree because the thing is that the focal point is not ministry. The focal point is not meeting the needs of the community. It's all about money. The thing is that, unfortunately, which is sad, I mean, damn, I'm going to get into trouble saying this, but oh well, it is what it is. because right now I'm starting up a church plan, and eventually I want to join the conference, and I have nothing against the conference, but unfortunately, the problem that I have with the conference is the conferences are not really discipleship minded. You know what I'm saying? They're not discipleship minded, and they're not really rooted on doing community service. So, in order for you to join a conference, you have to have a certain amount of money to join.
We got a lot of viewers.
Oh, because we're saying some real stuff.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, of course, you're talking real stuff. You good? We flowing.
Who's this? Why the conference have to approve you to have a church? Why can't you be independent?
No, because once you're underneath the conference, you get that protection.
The protection.
You get the protection. You get the insurance, and you get the nonprofit. 503.
We're gonna answer your question.
Nonprofit, because as an individual church, for you to get that insurance by yourself, it's very expensive and it's very hard.
Yeah,
it's almost like, think of it as the conference being BJ's, then you got the local corner stores being the churches underneath. It's like that. Almost.
Yeah. The thing is that what I want to say was basically, we're gonna answer your question. So basically, the thing is that if you have like 10 or 20 people, for them, you're not considered to be a church. You're considered to be a company. A mission or a company. Okay. If you have 10 to 20 people. I'm just saying, that's what it is. I'm not making it up and everything like that. And basically, with them, you have to have a certain amount of money. You have to have a certain amount of bodies to be.
You have to have a certain amount of members tithing.
Yeah, tithing to be part of.
It's like a certain amount of it's like if you go rent or you buy a house. You gotta have the income showing that you could afford the house.
Yeah,
because remember, you gotta tithe to the conference. Your tithe and offerings, they claim goes to missions around the world and help people basically, but it really goes to like the insurance and thing. It's like it's almost like the mafia. Basically, I'm gonna keep it on
statements, baby.
You own a store, right?
Yep.
And I come with a bat. I'm like, yo, if you don't want this place to be broken, you're gonna have to pay me tithes.
Yeah.
Every month.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come here and beat you.
That's right.
And if something happens to you, you get no protection.
Of course.
If someone falls in front of your place and they sue you, I can't help you. Well, if the government comes and sue you for tax evasion, I can't help you. You understand?
Like I said to add on, like I said, it's all about meeting quotas, meeting deadlines, and I feel in a way it's not right because we have to be more discipleship oriented. We have to be more community oriented. We have to teach our people. We're gonna ask you a question. Give me a second. 1 second. We're gonna ask you a question. We need to be more community oriented. Like the other day, my man was talking about looking at your credit, building businesses, moving the way the Jews move. I believe we need to be on that movement and on that wave. I really believe that 100%. And the thing is that we as a church, we don't look for our own. You know what I'm saying? We're about, I got my degree, I got my car, I got a better job than you do, but forget about you and stuff like that. But when you go to Kingston Avenue in Crown Heights, you don't see no broke Jew asking for money. I've never seen a broke Jew before in Kingston Avenue and stuff like that. Everybody's together. So that's pretty much my issue and my problem.
Let's just answer his question real quick.
We gotta go up real quick. Gotta go up. So sorry.
No, his question was simple. He said, "Why are we still in the SDA church?" That's a good question. Good question.
I can answer for one. I'm in the SDA church because number one, I believe in the message that it teaches. My problem with the SDA church is that we are not community oriented. We are not focused on discipleship. We are not helping our people outside the four corners of the wall, of the wall, and we're not helping our own people inside the church who are struggling with everyday needs. Other than that, there's a lot of things that I believe in, but in regards to, like I said, I want to say it again, not helping our own people, that's a problem. Not meeting the needs of the community, that's a problem. And not being discipleship focused, that's a problem for me. You know what I'm saying?
So why are you still in the SDA church, Mike?
Well, piggyback right into what Sandra said. I'm there for the message, and I'm there for, to be honest with you, I'm there for the message, and I'm there for certain church activities, not all. And it's good for the kids. It's kind of family oriented, but at the same time, you still got to watch your back because the devil's in church too.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, to be honest with you, I kind of like put myself as an SDA. I don't consider myself SDA. I just consider myself a Sabbath worshiper. Because the SDA, I can't bring a guest to church. I can't bring guests to my church.
That's real.
Because I know the people that I have in my church, and to save the embarrassment and the humiliation,
that's crazy.
I don't bring no guests to my church.
And we got to do better than that. We got to do way better than that.
And I grew up in the SDA. I grew up in the SDA.
Wow.
It's sad that I have to feel this way, but it's true.
That's real. Did somebody ask somebody else too?
No, the same question.
Same question. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So let me answer that question.
My man said, he said, Sanders, you don't know we are powerful people and don't need to
latch on to be relevant.
No, definitely. Listen, nobody is latching on. I'm just telling you, listen.
This is an example of that.
Yeah, it is an example.
We're working independently.
Independent. The thing is that nobody's lashing on. The thing is that, bro, I'm not even with a conference. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing ministry since I was 18 years old. And I've never been with a conference. And for me, it's all about serving the community, helping the people, teaching the people, building the people. Me personally, I have no ambitions in regards to, I'm gonna be honest with you, because Pastor Rich just taught me this, and I gotta give him a shout out for this, because I've seen the evilness that goes on with people who want positions and who want power. Yep. I just want to just be a pastor. That's all I want to be. I want to be able to help people in the community, help the church, help us to be more organized, help us to be more community-oriented, help us to be more family-oriented. There should be no reason why people in our church is struggling. There should be no reason why people in our church, they don't have food in their homes. They don't have jobs and stuff like that. So I'm on that different timing. We coming together as brothers, yourself and Brother Ricard, because we really want to make a difference in our church, and people need to really, really wake up.
He said
and
we
really
feeding
step up.
the conference, though. We're the ones feeding it, I guess. The supporting the conference.
I understand. You see, the thing is that I'm gonna be honest with you. For me, I wanted to go self-supportive. You feel me? But when you say self-supportive, you feel me? Now, listen. Let's keep it. We see. Wow. You know, and the things that we were so worried about what we was gonna be talking about. and it came through. The thing is that when you say you want to be self-supportive and you want to be independent, people just back away from you, boy. You feel what I'm saying?
It's almost like when you're a rapper, right?
Yeah.
If you're in a major deal, you get advertisement, you get the backing of a big label, you get the support, you get the protection. But if you're independent, everything comes out of your pocket.
Yo, bro,
everything comes out of your pocket, and
but
it's expensive.
The thing is that it's a label. You feel me? The thing is that I wanted to go self-supportive. I mean, we're self-supportive for right now. We're not against the message. But when you tell people, yo, especially with the Haitian culture, not
independent churches are taboo.
American. We tell people, yo, bro, I'm going self-supportive. They be like, yeah. Yo, Sanders, yo, we support you. But they know where to be found because of the label that's in it. Yeah, we're self-supportive for now, but eventually.
But our support is God.
No, but listen, I support is God, but we need each other. We need the people. Don't get it twisted. Don't switch the situation, my man. You feel me? I respect it. But we need each other. The thing is that we're self-supportive for now, but eventually we want to join the conference.
A perfect example is if you start an independent church and then the government takes you to court for tax evasion, you can't say, "Oh, I'm doing it for God." Like,
no. If you're gonna start up a church, you definitely want to sign status to becoming non-for-profit. You know what I'm saying? Getting tax ID and all stuff like doing.
Hold on. Ron Lewis said, when was the last time the General Conference elected a black president?
Then I don't think they would ever elect a black president. They even going in. They are even going in regards to woman ordination, which I feel doesn't make sense. Because at the end of the day, the so-called prophet that they recognize. They don't even recognize women as equal to men when it comes. You know what it is? It's ignorance. It's ignorant. We have a lot of Ben Carsons in our church. It's not just Ben Carson. We have a lot of Ben Carson in our church. We have a lot of bougie, stuck-up people who has the same kind of ignorant mindset. That is the problem. That is the problem that we're having. It's
Shout
the
to
truth.
the viewers. We got a lot of viewers.
Yo, I'm telling you. Why do you need status from the government? Oh wow, Dad, you're going in, yo.
I'm gonna let him answer that.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say, who's the government? Who are they for us to be funding them? Who are they? But that's the kind of world we live in.
Someone said that this
my
church
boy.
is racist to the core.
No, it is racist to the core. The thing is, that let me say something crazy. I'm put you to something crazy. Let me talk about this. Why Black conferences started. So basically, there was a lot of things that, yo, I'm going back to, because my man was saying, yo, what we gonna talk about? And look, we going in right now.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So basically,
shout out to the viewers.
Shout out to the viewers.
Yeah,
we're flowing. So basically, there was a lot of things that was going on, but I think what really pressed the button, I learned this when I was at Oakwood, was there was a woman, they said that she sounded white, she wanted to be admitted to a hospital. And when they found out that she was Black, they told her that she had to go to another hospital that was like an hour away. This is Adventist. You hear what I just said? Mm-hmm. She died. They did not admit her because she was Black. And that's what sparked the Black conferences. And now, the reason why a lot of the white conferences, they want us to merge is because a lot of the white churches, a lot of the white conferences are dying. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And, you know, we are big on evangelism. We're big on outreach. We're big on revivals. So it's all about money, man. That's the reality. What's the next thing? Go ahead. Wait. So sorry, baby.
But before we get to that, right?
Yeah.
You were talking about racism in the church.
Yes.
If you look at it, God was always used as an example.
That's true.
For racism. That's the whole reason why for years they made Jesus face a white person's face.
But he's not white.
Of course not. He has skin of bronze hair like wool.
I want to tell you, you know that there's no, I don't know if you guys heard this by Jane Elliott, there's not a single white person that created a religion.
Yeah. But we know.
Bro, check out Jane Elliott when Oprah interviews her, bro. There's not a single white person that created a religion, boy.
Okay, but look.
You're not single.
But look, like I was saying.
Created Black people?
Dark-skinned people who they have more reverence and fear of God than white folk. You know that a lot of people in Europe they're atheists.
Okay,
they're so sorry.
Okay, sorry, but like they always used religion as a way to control Black people. A perfect example would be Nat Turner. When they wanted to control the slaves, they would send Nat Turner to different, I guess, plantations in order to preach to the slaves and to preach them to be like domicile, and they used the turn the other cheek method, everything else in order to like calm them out, smooth them out. And it's the same thing like today. Whenever Black people are rioting and they get upset, like the pastor says, turn the other cheek, let it go, let it go, let it go. Perfect example would be like the shooting when the white boy went into the church and he shot the people. Before they let the boy out with a bulletproof vest and they walked him out, they took him to Burger King and everything.
My God.
A white kid that just killed 6 Black people in the church.
Yeah.
9
people.
Yeah, 9 people.
And execution style too.
Yeah, and then they were quick to go on the news like, you people are Christian, you have to forgive him. But what do you think would have happened if the shoe was on the other foot?
Oh, bro, would have been over.
Okay. Another question the viewer asked.
Can you go, baby, I'm so sorry, King.
No, I don't want a question right here.
Oh, you know, my bad.
Yeah, one of the questions was, how do we feel about women pastors?
The Lord can use anyone who's willing to be a vessel, who's willing to be consecrated and dedicated to God.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of SDA churches that don't even let women preach, you know that?
I know that.
Yeah.
Yo, my man's responses are controversial. I thought I was bad, bro.
You can't have some SDA churches.
This dude, bro, is a troublemaker, bro. I thought I was bad.
That looks bad because you can't have some SDA churches that support women pastors and some don't.
That's facts.
It's like you're contradicting yourself.
Your boy said I'm only going in because you're my brother, and I don't want us all to be lost based on fear.
I'm all for it though. Women pastor.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I don't see what's the problem. I mean, we're very Ellen G. White. We're always putting, unfortunately, some of us put Ellen, the generous white more than the Bible. So it's an oxymoron.
I read somewhere that Ellen G. White had slaves.
Yo, like that is, I've never heard that, but bro,
because during that time, like
Damn.
she did not consider blacks to be SDA, because during that time she grew up during the time of slavery.
That's
and
true.
During the time of segregation, where they didn't even consider blacks to be humans in the first place, or even American citizens, and she went with that rhetoric.
That's real.
If you look at her preaching, she never preached against racism.
That's real.
You got a point.
Yo.
I read, bro. I read. Like,
Wow.
okay, and then Ron said maybe the presidents are not elected.
No, they're selected.
No, no president's selected. They're selected. They only gave us one black out of what, 46?
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
I think talking about the GC.
No, I know what he's talking about, but I'm talking about as a grand spectrum.
That's true.
And I'm talking about the world. If they only gave us one black president for an entire country once, like, what makes you think that a conference that's privately owned would give you blacks?
And what's even crazy is that, unfortunately, I don't feel like they contribute nothing. I think it's because they got the money. Because they got the money and they got the power. That's the reason why they're in power. But I don't see they doing evangelism. I don't see they bringing people in. It's really the blacks and Hispanics, and that's what it is. The facts are the facts. I know it hurts, but oh well, kill me. If you try to kill me,
They
too,
said Rick is causing trouble with that.
you know.
And the
Yo.
other president thing.
Yeah.
Obama wasn't the first black president. If he
Yeah, I know
you
that
can
one.
Google it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before George Washington, there was about about 6, 7, or 8 presidents, and they all were black. But history never gonna teach you that.
Wow.
What's his name? I forget his name.
I forgot his name. Is it John Hanson? Something like that.
Yeah. Ironically, I'm gonna drop a jewel on you.
Yes, yes,
He's the one behind the $2 bill, and that's why they took it out of circulation. I actually have a $2 bill in my wallet right now, and I'll show you.
I saved one too, but I don't know.
And that's why they took it out of circulation, because they not want you to see it. The thing that occurred during that time is this: he was the one who set up all the laws, all the borders. He basically created the foundation to create the United States, but it wasn't called the United States at the time, because at the same time, each state was its own individual territory, and they did not become a United States until afterwards. So during that time, he had the government, but George Washington had the military. So in order for them not to have a civil war when the country was first beginning, he fell back, and then they drafted the Constitution, and then that's what created the United States of America.
Yeah.
And George Washington was the president. So I'll show you guys right now, so you can see. You see the black guy right here?
Yep, I see it. I know you're
He's
talking
the
about.
one with the color green face. You see
Facts.
it right where my thumb is at.
Yeah, facts.
I'll show the people so they can see it.
That's facts.
See?
Rick causing trouble for wow.
On a $2
That's
bill.
real. That's real.
I got a few gems. I keep these with me. I even got the JFK quarter. Colored money.
That's real. That's real.
Collector's items.
Wow, that's real. That is real. That is real, man. You know, we have to really.
I'm not causing trouble, but ironically, Moses, you're right. Because I see in the SDA church, in every church, almost in every organization, they want you to be quiet. As soon as you open your mouth, they're like, you causing trouble, you breaking everything up, you doing this, you doing that. Like, no, we can't be fans of our own ignorance. Especially like, if we all saying that there's a Holy Spirit within all of us and God lives within us, and we know that common sense comes from God, spiritual awareness comes from God, intelligence comes from God, the tools come from God, the ability to heal comes from God, and all these things come from God. We're doing a disservice to ourselves, and we're doing the work of the devil by deceiving the people and encouraging lies and continuing lies and not acknowledging the truth or asking certain questions.
Yep.
Because even Job, when he was persecuted by the devil, which was allowed by God to test him at the time, he questioned God. He asked God, why is this doing to me? Even though God said, you're not able to question me, but he was able to question him at that time. And God shut it down because I am God. The only people that we can't question is God, but we can question man. Man needs to humble themselves sometimes.
That's real. That's real, bro.
Shout out to viewers. I see a lot of viewers today.
Because it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Wow. So, what else is on your mind, man? I mean, this is a lot going on. like I said, we just need to really, really, really repent, really read it, really not only just read our word, study our word, apply the word of God. Man said, let me ask your opinions on practice. Okay, what kind of practice are you talking about? I'm listening to you, Moise.
Speaking of practices, right? While we wait, a lot of youth always tell me that they're not ready to give themselves all to God. They're not ready to preach. They're not ready to help the church. They're not ready to do certain things in church because they're not fully fixed yet. First of all, it's God that made us. And it's because we were nothing but dirt until God blew breath into our lungs and gave us life. And then He made us within His image, first of all. So if we feel like we're broken, the only ones that can fix us is God. The thing is, we will never be perfect. The only person that was perfect was Jesus Christ. And He died for our sins. And so our sins are forgiven through Him. So through Him, we are saved through the blood of Christ. So a lot of people, they say, oh, they're not good enough for God to use them. If you look at the Bible, the whole entire Bible is about God using broken people in order to do the impossible. Abraham was a liar. Joseph was a liar. Jacob was a liar. Noah felt like he was too old. Moses felt like he couldn't talk. David was stealing people's wives.
Facts.
Solomon couldn't keep his penis in his pants. Like, Jesus Christ's great-grandmother was a prostitute.
Facts.
Like, whenever did you hear about a perfect person being used?
God used broken people.
Yeah.
So he can make them whole for His glory.
Peter denied Christ 3 times. And we see Peter and Paul was used the most. And wasn't it Paul that inherited the church after the death of Christ?
Yep.
And the thing that we need to realize, a lot of us don't see Christ. In the Bible, in the book of Matthew, Luke, and John, because they're concurrent.
Luke was a murderer.
Yeah, Luke was a murderer.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ asks, who do they say that I am? And some say that you are the reincarnation of John the Baptist. Some say that you are this. Some say you are that. And He asks 12 men, do you know who I am? And out of 12 men, only one answered. Only one knew. And one was like, you're the Christ. You're the Son of God. So out of 12 people, only one person knows Christ. Look how much people in your church. Ask yourself, how much of them knows Christ?
That's real.
Because these were 12 men that walked with Jesus Christ every single day. And only one knew that He was the Christ.
And they were gangsters. They were gangsters. I want to answer your question about the Passover. The Passover is basically a reminder of what God did for the children of Israel in regards to allowing them their freedom. There's nothing wrong with us.
Hold on. Let's give a background on Passover. During the time when the Israelites were in Egypt and they was in bondage, they basically was the 12 plagues that God gave Moses to show the power of the God of Israel. So one of the plagues was that the firstborn son of every Egyptian would die. And so God told Moses to tell His people to put the blood of a lamb in front of the door, so when the spirit of death came by, he would pass over. That's why they called it Passover.
Teach, sir.
So whoever doesn't know that, that's what it is. I feel like we can keep Passover, eat the unleavened bread, keep ourselves pure, understand the sacrifice that we had to do. We don't have to do sacrifices anymore because Jesus Christ was the living sacrifice.
Exactly.
We don't have to do the sacrifice anymore. So, as in Passover, we could celebrate the passing of Christ so that we can live. But I don't think we should celebrate Passover just once. We should celebrate Passover every day because we sin every day. So every day our sins have to be forgiven.
Wow. Somebody asked a very controversial question, which we're going to answer. Go down. Give me your thoughts on gay people entering the SDA church lately. Now, this is what I want to say about this.
Shout out to the viewers. There's a lot of viewers.
There's a lot of viewers today. The thing is that we all fall short from the glory of God. That's number one. We don't discriminate against anyone who has faults, vices, and sins.
shouldn't.
We don't look down. However, how would you feel if I was a pastor and I had about 12 women? That's unacceptable, right? So the thing is that,
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is that
I'm not gonna stop you. I'm
so
gonna
the
say
thing,
this.
so the thing is that at the end of the day, there's a standard. Like any other sin, it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong. Clearly, it's wrong. There's an agenda. Repent, give God your heart, and God can change you into being the man that you are to love women, and being the woman that you are to love men. It's possible to change. What?
That's how I have to train myself. I have to train myself that gay is a sin. Because I used to hate homosexuality.
Yes, real.
But sin is a sin in front of God's eyes. So I don't have to accept it. But if that's the life they chose, all I can do is pray for those individuals and tell them to repent.
But okay, wait, time out. I was listening to Dr. Umar Johnson, who's a psychologist, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said that there's some individuals that feel like homosexuality is something that you're born with. But then they say that how does an embryo is able to determine whether it's homosexual or not? Because naturally, even within animals, you see that the male goes with the female. Yeah. And that's the basic animal instincts. Animals' instincts are basic to just eat, survive, and reproduce to continue the race. And that's the same thing with us humans. As the most simple natural instincts, there are animals that engage in a little homosexual behavior, but they do it for fun, I guess. Like, when monkeys dry hump each other, when dogs do it. But they're not like doing it to like reproduce or to like mate and remain in like a long relationship type of thing.
Animals will always be smarter than human beings.
Yeah. And if
they went to the ark.
And if we go back to the Bible, it said that homosexuality was like rebuked upon and it was punishable by death. In today's modern society, it's almost like we're living in a second Egypt, in a second Rome, but the new empire is, I guess, this America. And we know from the Bible that this will be the last empire to fall before the second coming of Christ. My thing is, I respect all people, and I love all people because we're all children of God. But at the same time,
that's real.
If you choose to engage in certain behavior, then you're gonna have to deal with it at the time that it comes. It's like if I'm a criminal, ignorance of the law is no excuse. If a cop comes to arrest me and they're like, you're breaking the law, I'm like, this is what I've been doing my entire life. I'm not breaking the law, and I didn't know this was a law. I can still be arrested. I can still get punished. I can still get jailed. It'll be the same time. If you believe in a Jesus Christ and you believe in a God, there's going to be certain laws. And there's two things you could do. You could repent, and through the blood of Jesus Christ, you could be forgiven. Or you could not repent and take it as your own. And then you'll end up where sinners are.
So somebody, Ron, asked you a question in regards to Ellen G. White having slaves. I didn't know she had slaves, first and foremost, but I do know for a fact that the Lord, later on in life, the Lord did reveal to her that we had to reach out to the Negro, that God had a special work in the Negro, and during that time, a lot of white Adventists were against that, and that's why they shipped her out to Australia. So,
Australia was a really racist place. You ever heard of the Tasmanian people, the people of Tasmania? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they came from like a population of 100,000, over 100,000 to a population of about 10 to just 1 in less than 3 years.
But prior to that, I heard there was like black people living there first.
Yeah. The Tasmanian people was the original Australians.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Back to what you were saying, Brother Ron, about providing source for Ellen G. White having slaves. I'm not too sure if she had slaves. I'm not going to say that. But the thing that I said earlier is that during that time, people owned slaves. I know that much. And during that time, whites did not consider blacks to be their equals at all. And her being a white woman, and her husband started the SDA Church, right? Yeah, her and her husband and some other guy. I forget the other guy's name. Him being a white male during that time and a white male of affluent, because he had to have some type of money to start a religion and to start a church. He wasn't broke. I would guess that during that time, having slaves is a part of being rich. It's,
of course,
it's property.
Of course, everybody had.
But I'll do further research on it for you.
Everybody had a mammy. Everybody had, yes, it is what it is. That is what it is. That is what it is, bro. Yeah, I agree. I mean, even Abraham Lincoln had black people who would, that he would, take care of his kids. You know what I'm saying? That's obvious. Like, come on, guys. Those things are just common sense. Like, come on. Like, during the 1800s in America, a lot of white people, Christian white people, would use black slaves to do their bidding. Like, come on, let's be honest. And a lot of the denominations apologize for the atrocity that they contributed for slavery, except for the Seventh Adventist Church. Oh, snap, you hear what I just said? Yes.
If you look at it, where's the most churches found? Down south. They call it the Bible Belt.
Let's be honest.
Where was the most racist part in America?
It was the
down
south. Come on, those things are coming. And the thing is that what's even worse, the thing is that when slavery ended, white people did their best with the black codes to
Jim Crow laws.
But before Jim Crow, but the black codes to not allow black people to work. That's when you have the white unions and stuff like that.
And there was no formal prison prior to the blacks being freed. And they started the police force, the sheriffs, and everything else to catch slaves.
Yeah.
Because they made it illegal not to have a job. They made it illegal to lauder. But most slaves didn't have a job and they didn't have a house.
That question is
they went to jail and they came back as slaves.
It's common sense. And knowing how God spoke to her, because she has a book called something about the Negro work, talking about how we're anointed. God has a special work for us as a people. We as Seventh Adventists, we were supposed to go and spread the gospel, but because of racism and discrimination, we did not. And as a result, a lot of the blacks that we have today, they're Pentecostals, they're Baptists, they're Methodists, because, they're AME, but we did not reach out to those people. That question, all the respect to me, is rhetorical, because we know that's what it was. What made American society was slavery. What breed American society was slavery. Financially was slavery. That's what it is. It hurts, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
And if you look at it, Martin Luther King, he was a Methodist preacher. He was
Baptist.
Yeah, Baptist preacher. Yeah. And even him, there was racists against him.
Oh, of course.
He had all these doctrines. All these degrees. He sat with the president a few times, and he was a pastor, and he was still racist against him.
Facts.
And the people that was racist against him, I bet you they went to church every Sunday.
Every Sunday. Bro, listen, there were pastors that spoke against what he did, but
he got kicked out the church.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they celebrate you more when you're dead than when you're living. That's when the funerals don't count. Spread Love Now comes in.
Nice little plug.
They revere you more when you're dead than when you're living. That's called? That's called necromancy. When you honor the dead more than the living. So that's something to talk about. Well, we got a lot of good viewers today. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So the New World Order. What's the New World Order?
Oh, speaking of New World Order, we know Brother Prodigy. R.I.P. to Brother Prodigy.
Yeah.
He used to speak out against the New World Order several times, and you see how he died. He said during his childhood growing up, he used to question God because he suffered from sickle cell anemia, and there'll be weeks where he'll be sick, he felt like he was dying. Then the next week that he was regular, he was like, God, as a kid, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? He said, but as he got older, he understood what his mission was. And the more he understood his mission, the more he understood what was going on, the more he tried to correct it. Unfortunately, it took him going to jail and everything else to really change his life, to move different. And I see recently, they made a mural for him in Queens. The first time they threw paint on it, they did it over, they threw paint on it again.
Yeah. Read about that. Disrespectful, man.
Very disrespectful.
So what you think about Prodigy's message, you guys?
I think he was real raw with it. He ain't beat around the bush.
Yeah.
He's keeping it real. And a lot of people didn't want to hear what he had to say. And a lot of artists that he banged with, they know what's going on, but they choose to keep their mouth shut.
Exactly.
But Prodigy, I can somewhat relate myself to him. He was outspoken about the New World Order, what's going on, a lot of rituals going on, a lot of sacrifices and stuff like that.
Is that a question that you asked? A statement?
It look like a statement. All churches united as one. That's part of the New World Order too. Like having one central religion and one central government.
Yeah.
Yep. The Pope is pushing that for that hard.
Yeah. Well, we're not.
Speaking of the Pope, you heard about like one of the Pope's workers that got caught having a sex party. Yeah, he was having a sex party with like drugs and underage boys.
Yeah.
In the holy city of the Vatican.
I'm telling you, it's real out here.
But it's all a front though. Anyway, it's not really a whole.
But let me ask you a question. This new J album. What's that? I found out 7 Adventist official had a meeting with the Pope and gave him a medal. Well, we're not into that. We're not for that right there.
I'm not surprised.
We're not bowing to that.
During the 70s.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not into that. We into Jesus. We're not into bowing down
nothing
to
new under the sun.
Yeah. But I want to ask you a quick question. Do you feel like with the J album, like, you know, the OJ, a lot of the things that he's saying, do you think that he's going against the grain? What you think?
He said it in the song. He said that. He said, they're going to kill me when they see the real me. He said, this is the real me.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, he said that on the album. He said, F being Jay-Z. That's his whole. He's saying that, like, on a thing, he said that his wife had several stillborn miscarriages. And he said it's because he knew he was doing evil, so whenever he went inside of her, her spirit couldn't take his.
Are you serious?
He said it on the album. He said that he even killed her innocence. He saw her innocence leave her eyes. Because, remember, prior to, she grew up in the South. She grew up religious and everything. But when she started dating him, dangerously in love, she started dressing different.
Oh my God.
She started, praising the Baphomet. And he was like, he understood what he was doing. And then he said that it took me having twins to really believe in real miracles. And then he said, I even admitted to my wife that the spiritual stuff is true. And then he said that I represent the Elohim. Elohim is not a name for the one true living God. Like he's basically like acknowledging himself. They said the 444, that has the numerical value. I guess the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost, and the fourth person would be man, like yourself. That completes it. So there's numerical like there's power in number and there's powers in sound. So everything you do equates to something else, because the world is just numbers and sound. Like, you ever heard of the 5%ers? Like, they break down the world into math. And they said that the people who know about everything in math is the 5%. The people who have manipulated math and made riches are the 1%. That's why they're so rich, because they got the 1% of they're the 1% that knows the secrets of the world. That's why, like, even the stonemasons started with the creation of Solomon's temple, because when God gave Solomon the knowledge, he shared a part of that knowledge with the builder of the temple, and that's why they came to try to kill him, but he didn't give up the secret, and so they killed him. And then that's why they made that Mason sign. That sign is everywhere. You go outside of this library and you look on the wall, the Mason sign's on the wall of this library. Yeah, because it's almost like a form of magic. Because think about it, you manipulating wood and cement to create things based on the math. Even right here, you see, like right here is the liquid that calculates onto math, that holds this in position. It's calculated based on math. Like, we always had the secrets of math, and they said that the black man only gave the rest of the world, I think, 10% of the math that we know, or 15% of the math that we know, and then they used it to the rest of the world. But that's not all the math, like algebra, trigonometry, all that. That's not the only math that we know, because the math that they know is not compared to the math that we know today. That's how.
Talking about the Moors.
The Moors are black. Moor is another word for black.
Yeah.
Moor, Negro, all those words. Maroon, Marron. The same thing in French. Everything, same thing. But you see how they built the pyramids? That's straight math.
Wow.
Like they calculate it up to the first degree, and it shoots up to the sun and lines up with the stars. That's all math.
They still can't figure it out.
Yeah, that's all math.
That's real.
Yeah. So like, I lost what I was saying.
Nah, man, it's deep.
Yeah, I went deep into something else. I lost myself. Yeah.
About the parents, they still to this day they still don't know how.
Here's one thing I did, right? Here's one thing I did. One time, I meditated, and like, there's different levels of godhood, but you gotta bring yourself to a certain spiritual realm. Like Jesus Christ did it because he was guilty of no sin. Like, remember when the Pharisees kept trying to like convict him of a sin, they couldn't catch him. It's because he was so close to God, he was guilty of no sin, that he had the direct connection to God, him being part of the Godhead anyways. But on earth as a man, because he never sinned, his Holy Spirit within him was strong. Wow. Even after his death, he was able to speak to the apostles for what, 12 days, 15 days after his death. This is after the apostles, and he spoke to them and he gave them the religion. They said that to see that God is within you, you have to do certain things, which Jesus Christ did. One of the things he did was heal people, the spirit of healing. That comes from God. Another thing he did was banish demons, because we know that the demons come from the devil. Like Solomon was able to control and manipulate demons to try to, and he used them to build his temple. That's how his temple was built in a way that it wasn't built. Yeah, there's the onyx of, there's these books called the Onyx of Solomon, and he said a lot of people that practice witchcraft, they use those books. Because if you manipulate in the wrong way, then it's basically using the devil's power.
Wow.
And in the books, it said after, because remember, Solomon had so much knowledge that like he was able to understand everything. But then, because he loved the women so much, the women brought the different gods to him, and then he started to worship their different gods, and so he went crazy. It's almost like right now, if you know too much, you fell fool. It makes you crazy even now. So like, they said he caught his first demon because he had a boy that worked in his temple. And every day he gave the boy money, he gave him food, but the boy would come back skinny. And then he told the boy, why you keep coming back skinny? I feed you and I give you money every day. The boy said, it's a demon that torments me. He comes and steals my food and he sucks my finger. And then he was like, he said, what's his demon name? Bring him to me. And then when the boy came, the demon followed the boy, because even now, like if you got a demon on you, it's gonna follow you.
Wow.
And like if a pastor comes and he prays on you, this boy's in his bag.
Wow.
Like they say if you go and fight a demon, if you're not strong enough to fight the demon's gonna come and attack you, and you're gonna have to wrestle that demon, and you're gonna have to kill it. Say for example, you got a demon, and I come to try to help you and pray for you, the demon's gonna come to me. And based on my spiritual ability, I either kill the demon or the demon drives me mad.
That's true. So you gotta stay in prayer.
So like when a demon came to Solomon locked the demon. He locked him, and then he was like, you now work for me. And then, okay, back to what I was saying before. Solomon had gave the master mason a ring. That's why you see all masons now, they have the same ring. The master mason ring. That's when they move up in the ranks and they learn the 44 laws. 444. There's 44 laws of Freemasonry.
So that
yeah, Jay-Z's a master mason now. That's how you reach the 1%. He's a billionaire.
So
think about
basically, that 444
was
intentional.
Yeah, he's declaring it. He's declaring that he reached the master level.
Yeah, I knew the title had something to do with Mason.
Yeah.
So he, when he said about he had a dream 444 that morning.
No, he hit the pinnacle. Remember, they hit $1 billion. Him and his wife hit $1 billion. They're in the 1% now.
Oh my God!
Remember what I was telling you?
There's a few of them.
Yeah.
Puffy's up there too, I think.
We are in the 60%. Like we're the broke people. Some people are in the 200%. Like they're super poor. Those are the welfare people. Like 200% poverty level.
Damn.
There's a list that calculates
so he's
it.
in.
Yeah.
Like, listen to me. There's a government list. It's called the Income Determination Qualification. And it's a risk assessment questionnaire based on how you live your life and what's your highest grade of education and how you live growing up. It can calculate your risk of being unemployed or homeless, basically on how you lived your life. So each person is underneath a criteria. You're either underneath the 200%, the 100%, or you over. You could be the 60%. That's the 9 to 5 people that go to work every day. The 40%. Like that's like middle class and things like that. Boy. There's like the 6-figure people. They're like in the 20%, and then the 5%.
They don't do interviews like that, bro. They don't do interviews like that. You know this, right?
They don't have to. Why? Because those people that's in our level, all their interviews are behind closed doors, but only certain people could come in. You can't come in those interviews, bro.
They hardly do interviews, bro.
For what? They can't talk about the stuff that they're doing because they're part of the 1% and the 5%.
Oh my
That's how you stay on top. The most important thing in the world is information. It's not money.
But Kanye's going there. It's like, yo, you don't even talk to me, boy. It's Kanye. It's like, you don't even talk to me, boy.
No, but they're in a different echelon now. Jay-Z done passed Kanye. Yeah. He can't be friends with him. Now, if you look at his friends, he's friends with Warren Buffett. He's friends with Obama. He's friends with the 1%. He's not friends with the 5 and 10% or more. So think about it. If I'm a millionaire, no offense, but I can't really chill with y'all. Like, it's gonna mess me up in the sense that, like, if you're a millionaire, if you chill with regular people, they're gonna ask something from you. They're gonna hate on you. They're gonna try to kill you. It's gonna be people that's gonna still be cool with you, but the dog is only loyal to you as long as you're feeding it.
Facts.
And that's just what it is.
That's real.
That's why Jay-Z said, like, how you gonna go on stage and talk about me? I gave you 25 mil. And Kanye said, Jay-Z, don't kill me. I know you got shooters. Kanye knew what was up. He said it. But Jay-Z felt like he was embarrassed. But that's one of the, rites of passage. You have to be publicly embarrassed. Kanye publicly embarrassed Jay-Z, and so did his wife. On the album, he's apologizing. So that's one of the rites of passage. You gotta do a human sacrifice. You gotta have public embarrassment. No, somebody gotta publicly embarrass you.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn, this thing is crazy.
She publicly embarrassed him with the Lemonade album, and everybody was like, "Oh, how like she's lying and we don't know." But he admitted to cheating on his last album.
Of course. That's why Solange.
Even if he didn't do it, but he gotta say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even true.
Sometimes it's not even true.
Yeah.
Just for sales.
Yeah.
So there's a math and there's a science and it's a spiritual thing.
No, the math is the science.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They live based on the 44 pillars. There's different rights, and the higher you go up, the more you know. You understand?
Bro.
Say, all right. You see a regular Mason on the street, like it be regular Mason sometimes, like a random dude, like I don't want to say a bum, but someone that goes to a regular job who does regular stuff that could get kicked out their crib. Who don't really.
Do you think Eminem's on the same level too?
Not at the same level as Jay-Z.
Because Eminem is a billionaire too.
No, he's not. He's not a billionaire. Eminem's not a billionaire.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. You could check it.
Let's check it right now, bro.
Yeah, he's not a billionaire. Jay-Z and Beyonce is the first. But yeah, like, this dude went platinum in 4 days before. He went platinum before the album even came out. Do you know that, right?
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, he went platinum because it's already fixed for him.
Facts.
He got 13 platinum albums. They set up so he could be the top echelon.
Facts.
On top of everybody.
It's crazy.
That's how they line it up.
I think, to be honest with you, I think Eminem is cloned.
You think so? Why you say that for?
He went into hiding for a few years at one point, and they said that he got fat and then he got skinny.
Type it on YouTube.
Yo,
he
bro,
fell into a deep depression after his friend died and everything else. He didn't want to rap no more.
Same friend he sacrificed.
He sacrificed Proof?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That same sacrifice he did. He had a video. I forgot the name of the song.
Toy Soldiers.
And
Toy Soldiers
right.
died before he actually died.
His net worth is $190 million in front of Jay-Z's net worth. You're right.
Put Jay-Z and Beyonce. I think they worth like $1.3 billion right now.
610.
Jay-Z and Beyonce net worth.
Okay, Jay-Z and Beyonce net worth, right?
Yeah.
Damn, son.
It's probably like that 1.3.
Yo, son, you just messed my head up with this 444 thing, man.
I didn't listen to the album yet, though.
What is it?
It's over 350
mil or bill.
Nah. Okay, it says 810. I mean, it has to be $1 billion.
It's not $1 billion, bro.
Oh my God, that's real, boy.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. People just don't want to talk about it because they got too much personal stuff invested in there where they don't want to take those chances. You understand what I'm saying?
I believe that.
Now you said something about Eminem being cloned.
After this, I gotta wrap it up.
Okay, you gotta leave, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I think he's cloned because there was a while back when he came on what's that show called? 106 in Park, when it used to be aired, a clone appeared. So Free put a footage on and say, look, that's you rapping back in the days, whatever. And he's just staring at it. And he was like, I don't recall doing that. That same day, they took him out. The Illuminati, they took him out, and they rebuilt another clone. Yeah, you got.
That's the same thing that happened to Kanye. When he was on stage and he just started snitching. He was like, Jay, I know you got shooters. Talk to me, dog. I ain't talked to you in mad long. We put on a fake relationship for everybody to see. Beyonce, you don't even call my wife. You don't even call my wife. You don't care about us. We're not really friends. And then they shut down his whole tour. They put him in the hospital. I heard that the cops came and put him in an ambulance. They strapped him down. They shut down the whole hospital just for him. They kept him there, and he was reprogrammed. After they seen him, like, he just looked blank. Yeah. And then they claimed that he went to some rehab place to clear his mind in Nevada, and now he's gonna come back and redo music again.
There was a time when he was on Ellen's show. He was talking crazy. Ellen asked him a question. He was just staring in space, and he just snapped. And then I don't know what was going on with that.
Yeah.
But if you pull a picture of an old Eminem when he first came out and how he could look now, it's a lot of different. It's like a total facelift. Different nose, different eyes.
It's this program called MK Ultra. It's the government mind control, where they could turn you off and turn you back on.
Stuff. That's why a lot of them celebrities, they wear shades.
Yeah, it's like a plan.
It's
just like in Get Out. It's just like in Get Out when the guy took the shades and he clicked the thing and the guy was like, and he came back into consciousness. Wow. And then he was like, get out, get out, get out. It's the same thing.
I need to see the movie.
Yeah,
it's a good one to watch. It's a good time, so we gotta watch that movie.
That's why he made a song all of the lights. It's like you can't really see nothing. It's just lights flashing at you all day of your life. It's like everybody can see you, but you can't see yourself.
Everything is spiritual, boy.
You can't see what you're doing.
Everything is spiritual.
Because they lost themselves. Like they're like an empty black hole. Yeah. That's all they are.
A lot of them regret signing their blood, man. They want to get out and they can't. Once you sign that contract, that's it.
It's crazy.
They own you.
With that, because you said you got to go. So basically, we want to let everybody know. We want to thank everybody for watching us today. We ask that you guys may repost what we're doing. We also want to let you guys know that we're looking for people to give donations. We're collecting about 30,000 boxes.
We have $540 right now. Shout out to all the people that donate.
540 already. It's 530.
530?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
530. It's close. We have Hebron who's giving us, who's raising offering. We have brother, what's the guy name again? Oh my God. He's really big on community outreach. Marlo, who also want to help us. So we collecting. Give what you guys can. Participate. We're going to do a video. Once we have the diapers, we need your participation and your love. It's about to go down. So we want to just thank you guys for your time. It was really a real intense conversation. Wow, I'm blown away.
Any shout outs you want to
Shout out to all the viewers. Shout out for everybody that's supporting us three, and no matter what we're doing. And
wow,
that's it. Have a good night. Stay prayed up.
Yeah. If we offended anybody today, we don't apologize. The show's called The Real Word. Hold that.